not going to argue with you. You have your options, and that's
because you can't argue with me. Because you're charging me with no grounds whatsoever to charge me. I'm walking up and down the sidewalk.
The reason why you issued the ticket.
No, you didn't. I just asked.
And I just told you that this is not
Exercise. It's not like exercise. I'm not allowed to.
exercise.
Well, I'm not just okay. So what about him? Are you gonna go give him a ticket because he's outside the bike?
We're not going to argue. Okay?
Really? Okay.
You've been charged, and you have your options. Okay.
She had posted some of the event on TikTok, and I mean, it had well over 1 million views. Much of it was, but yeah, the hate was overwhelming at times.
Was it directed at you guys?
It was directed at her personally. They picked on her clothing, how she spoke, and some of it was certainly violent. Like it was.
As a mother, that must be terrifying.
It was hard just at this, because it's just like, this is my grade 12 daughter who just literally just wants to go back to school, and to think that she should have a death threat for that seems a little over the top.
A death threat?
Yeah.
Katherine Krozonouski here for Rebel News. I'm in Bayfield, Ontario today, speaking with Christina McMichael, who was ticketed along with her daughter for what can be described as a very, very small micro protest, a peaceful march of 2 people. I'm going to get Christina to explain what happened.
So on the Friday, my daughter wanted to go for a walk basically in front of her high school and enjoy the sun that day. And as well, she wanted to carry a sign that said, "Back to school." She was just feeling frustrated with the new imposed lockdown measures. And I had suggested to her that, there are ways to handle frustration in positive ways. And she came up with the idea to, like I said, go for a walk and do it in front of her school, with the sign just to say "back to school," which was just basically a genuine statement of how she was feeling. She wanted to go back to school. So I supported her in that decision, and we talked about the possible repercussions because of the stay-at-home order. And we decided that the risk of a fine, if it was misinterpreted as an unnecessary measure, was probably worth it. So I, like I said, supported her in her decision, and I attended with her that day because as a parent, I was concerned about, honestly, other kids, how they would react. So
You mean her peers not being supportive and bullying?
And just realizing even in my own peer group, there's a lot of social pressure to conform, and I wasn't sure how that would have went for her. So I wanted to be there for her, and I joined her walking around on the sidewalk, and within probably a matter of 5 minutes or so, one police cruiser showed up, and subsequently 5 other ones showed up at that time. So
6 police cruisers in total, not just your regular round on duty police. They were sent there, obviously.
Most certainly they were. And they lined up in front of the school along the sidewalk where we were standing. I was shocked. I was certainly nervous about maybe wondering what we had done that would require such a reaction. So we basically just waited for them to approach us. They, specifically one officer, stated what we were doing wrong, which was not complying to the stay-at-home order.
Exercising is not allowed. What am I allowed outside of my house for? Could you explain that to me?
There's a list that's readily available.
You don't have that list? You don't have that list, but you're here charging me for something, but you don't know what's on the list.
I do know what's on the list, but this is...
Then could you explain it to me?
I'm not going to argue with you. You have your options, and that's...
Because you can't argue with me? Because you're charging me with no
So,
grounds
like I
whatsoever
said,
to charge me. I'm walking up and down the
The
sidewalk.
reason why you issued the ticket.
No,
and
you
have
didn't.
your-
I just asked you.
And I just told you that this is not
Exercise. It's not like exercise. I'm not allowed to use my...
exercising is
Well, I'm not just... Okay, so what about him?
So-
Are you going to go give him a ticket? Because he's outside
We're
biking.
not going to argue. Okay?
Really? Okay.
You've been charged and you have your options, okay?
Alright.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, but YouTube is trying to kill us. They've already demonetized us, and it's only a matter of time until we're off the platform completely. If you don't want to miss any of our content, go to rebelnews.com and subscribe. Okay, do it now.
At that time, I basically said, you know, we're within the same family. We're not exposing other people to any dangers. We're outside. We weren't inciting a riot of any sort. And at the end of the day, we literally were just going for a walk on a sidewalk, and my daughter had a sign that said "back to school," you know, and but that still wasn't sufficient for them to send us home or whatnot, or so yeah, they proceeded to speak to my daughter with the same, and we were both served with tickets. I really felt almost offended at the response that I was, because honestly, I'm just a law-abiding citizen, and I didn't feel that anything we were doing was wrong.
Yeah, you said you mentioned before that you were pulling resources away from potential other crimes and domestic situations that were possibly happening for your daughter and yourself to be walking around outside of a school with one sign.
Yeah, it just felt a little bit over the top. Yeah.
You can say that. So you mentioned to me when we were talking before that you reached out to the liaison officer, and you mentioned that your daughter was doing this. You wanted her to be safe, right? You just wanted to say, like, is she breaking any laws? And they were basically like, yes. Can you tell our viewers about what that exchange was like?
So yeah, I had reached out to the police OPP liaison in the days.
And this is prior to the
the days prior to the event of us going to the school, and for a couple of reasons, like I mentioned, just safety for my daughter and myself in case there was a problem, and also just I think I just wanted the transparency of, I want to do this. I believe in this. I believe in my Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I want my daughter to exercise and witness how that is played out in our society. And it was almost like a verification for me to tell the OPP, you know, we're going to do this. And part of me would wish that they'd say, hey, that's the right thing to do.
So to have 6 police cruisers show up when you guys had been there for 5 minutes, it's safe to assume that because you gave them that courtesy call, they took it the wrong way and showed up in force.
Kind of the order of operation was letting us know the infraction, asked us to leave, and then I responded that no, I do not feel that I want to leave. I plainly said, no, we're not leaving. And then at that point, they went to writing up the ticket.
Has your daughter had a backlash from her friends at school, well, not at school, but her community from this incident?
Yeah, certainly my daughter has. She had posted some of the event on TikTok, and I mean, it had well over 1 million views. Much of it was mixed. It wasn't overwhelming in either direction, but yeah, the hate was overwhelming at times.
Was it directed at you guys?
It was directed at her personally. They picked on her clothing, how she spoke, and some of it was certainly violent. Like it was.
As a mother, that must be terrifying.
It was hard, just at the because it's just like, this is my grade 12 daughter who just literally just wants to go back to school, and to think that she should have a death threat for that seems a little over the top.
A death threat? Yeah. From on like a TikTok comment?
Yeah, there was just like you know, wish you were dead, or just, I mean, it's mindless garbage, but it is hurtful at the same time.
That's awful. Does your daughter have a community of people that are in agreement with her, that she feels emboldened by, or is she sort of against the world right now?
I feel like we're both against the grain right now, which is unfortunate. I think I know myself. Because I'm a single parent. I don't want to lose my job. I have a very high presence in the volunteer community. I do a lot of volunteer work, and I really sense that if it was well known, my views about this, it would negatively affect the organizations I volunteer for. So I'm very low key. I wish it wasn't like that, but it's kind of the reality that I have to play right now. And then, yeah, certainly my daughter is the same. She would be in the minority with her opinion. But at the same time, we're finding like a lot of people just don't speak because they're scared. And if you have someone who is courageous enough to say something, then people kind of come out of the woodwork. So, yeah.
Are you proud of her?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that there's definitely hesitation because you're like, she's putting herself out there. She's getting death threats. Like, yeah. I'm not proud of that. I can understand that.
Yeah, I am. She's very spirited. So I just kind of chuckle because, sometimes I'm at the receiving end of her feistiness. But I've always said it can be used for good. And this is an example.
Clearly, yes, this is a great example of that. But YouTube is trying to kill us. They've already demonetized us, and it's only a matter of time until we're off the platform completely. If you don't want to miss any of our content, go to rebelnews.com and subscribe. Okay, do it now.